It's that time again. Another opportunity to get pissed and make fools of ourselves, as if we needed an excuse anyway. Our waist bulge from Christmas and white lies turn promises of exercise fill the air. And I have stepped out of my annual shower and shaved to tell a tale of a year that has almost passed. Sure, lots of stuff has happened in the world in 2015, but I'm just going to be talking about that one-of-a-kind MMOFPS Planetside 2. So buckle your seatbelts as we take the DeLorean back through the months of 2015. This is Planetside 2 Wipe. To kick it all off, in January, we all sat on the brink of game history making. Over 1,100 Planetmans turned up to help notch our name on the Guinness Book of World Records for most players in an FPS battle. Whilst the actual gameplay resembled a more advanced version of Pong, the PS2 team got some plaques and the kudos that comes with such a prestigious, well, official award. Even though I couldn't spot it in either the Guinness Book of Records or gaming version this year, we still have our pride. February came with ill omens. SOE's headquarters signs were all taken down, and news that the game was no longer under Sony's control, but a new independent company, Daybreak Games, which was first met with laughter because Daybreak Games was just too easy to pass up. There were a lot of misgivings about the future of the project as it was taken under the wing of investment company Columbus Nova. They then viewed fat cats who were going to flip the company like a pancake in a frying pan, then be gobbled up or thrown out, depending if we fell on the floor. Nobody likes fuzzies. And later that month our fears were realised as corporate suggested trimming the fat, and we lost lots of good people, including the map designer. The creative director and cult hairpiece packed his bags of his own accord, and whilst the community was split in their opinion of him, no one could deny that this personality that was a big part of the community was now lost. But, despite all our fears, Planetside 2 didn't come to a sticky apocalypse, and March came round as usual. Unfortunately, not much happened in March. Some light assaults just found a new ability named after a Greek figure renowned for the failure, Icarus, and forgot about it just as quickly. April came in pistol form, the Black Hand, opposed to Saruman's famous White Hand on his Orokai. Tried to hand something a bit more like a sniper than the Clint Eastwoodian revolver, the Commissioner. It gave a bit more versatility to the Stalker Cloak, which doesn't let you take a primary weapon and a sniper rifle. It also looked long for a pistol, in a kind of gentlemanly way. Others saw the phallic imagery and used it to compensate for barrel length they were actually missing. May was the month of generosity. Daybreak decided the players, needed a little handout to start them off. 100 certification points were given each level up to battle rank 15. There were conservative shouts of socialism, but Trump wasn't to emerge till later in the year. Whilst a nice gesture, the YouTubers scrambled to try and get the message out, to not blow the Malingos on a shiny new gun and instead upgrade their abilities, but I fear it probably has fell on deaf ears. June was the month of hunting maxes. The NSAM7 Archer brought us the unparalleled ability to piss off the skill suit warriors. A sort of vigilante justice was now an option if you ever saw a bloated max player top of the scoreboard. Some people used it to annoy aircraft and finish them off in funny ways, others grouped up and wished they had lancers instead. Tanks heard little tings of their armour before blowing up and called foul. The PS4 version was officially out, as a beta of course. Planetside 4 users were initially invited into an experience alien to consoles, but some people pointed out that there were bits missing from the PC counterpart. It wasn't the mega hit they hoped for, but it was out at last, at the very least. And then July happened. Daybreak came up with a fiendish plot to get long-time players to part with their stockpiles of certification points. You wouldn't actually be able to tell what it was at first. That's because it was invisible. That's right, it was under a cloaking slot that was 1,000 certification points in addition to the end of the stealth tree, which also costed 1,000 certs. Oddly enough, there were lots of them round, At first there was confusion as players appeared from thin air, but quickly enough counterplay emerged and it has become a strong element of the gameplay to date. Windows 10 was also released for free to other Windows users. Some people found Planetside 2 ran faster, some found it unplayable, and some people just really didn't care. Smedley also stepped down as Chief Executive Officer of Daybreak Games. Earlier in the month, a hacking troop called Lizard Squad had called in a bomb threat on his plane, and following threats of legal action, Daybreak Game servers were hit with waves of denial service or DDoS attacks. Whilst these events are not likely to be related, it did make a lot of headlines. August was the month of operatic drama. The worldwide Server Smash tournament had been in full swing. Connery lost with no territory remaining to Miller, the server who was 2014's ass. Some players called foul in the name of Connery and suggested Miller was stacking. Memes spewed and hundreds of posts went back and forth, and many pictures of cups being stacked were had. It was unclear if any Connery players were actually involved rather than the jewel of the East Coast. But a few laughs later, and then the drama alarm returned to the land of overreaction. We saw burst weapons receive a buff and become not just another useless stepping stone on the path to an Araxium. One-hit knives were also introduced. Questions of the pay-to-win balance being tipped as the better in every way knives went on sale were overshadowed by the hilarity they caused when paired with the Stalker Cloak. We saw whole corridors of troops be cut down with no idea from where. September gifted us new tank secondary turrets, which were dominated by red glowing tracers. TR tankers rejoiced, but the VS and NC saw the weapons as a fad, like the yo-yo went out of fashion. We saw the return of team members back to the project, notably Xander Claus, the map designer, and a sigh of relief to the wavering consumers. October hit and we got a bounty hunting system, except actually they decided to make it an I want revenge button. We went from expecting to roleplay Boba Fett to a keyboard mashing rager. Those with a bounty symbol over their heads became subject to a projectile bukkake as everyone locked onto them as their target. People clicked it as a joke at first, but costing real money and having little real reward, it just became an annoying blot on the death screen. November people were momentarily distracted by the release of serial DLC-a-thon Star Wars Battlefront, and the Planetside 2 team teased us with footage of their base building system which had been hiding in the dev-only servers. December might be remembered as the month that a decent Star Wars movie actually got released after 30 years of poodoo. And Planetside 2's winter event may get forgotten as yesteryear's reskin and rehash of placid snowmen hunting as if they dissolved a muddy stain into Ezemir. And the pink camo made anyone look fabulous like the Vanu, further confusing the trigger-happy NC, and those realism buffs called foul. And for a moment Miller was in the limelight, the unexpected winners of the 2015 Server Smash, with rival finalists Emerald and favourites going down with no facilities on the map. But what December will really be remembered by was a new hope. Rising from the PTS, we have changes across the board. A drivable ant, the resource collecting vehicle that resembles a stag beetle, and the placeable start to the new player base system, which will tie into the capture of continents, with a core that really blasts us off into the new year by vaporizing everything in its immediate vicinity when destroyed. Then we have a shift in map design towards reducing bases in favour of areas to place player spawns, and create what Xander Claus calls battlegrounds, with a general update to the whole of the continent Indar, and the heavier shield nerf which lowers the overall durability of all the shields, in the hopes of making infantry fights more varied. Warp gates have had a facelift too, ditching the one room corridor approach and adopting a more space for activities philosophy. And hey, you can now jump out of Valkyries without dying. Not that it ever stopped me. There's more, but at this point I'm going to go blue in the face, and all I'm trying to get at is a glimmer of hope. That this might be Planetside 2 2.0. And hey, that is a nice start to 2016. So 2015 hasn't been without its ups and downs, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is I have had fun. And reading between the whining on Reddit and the forums, you can see people really care, and their bitterness is an overprotective, mothering kind of love. So here's to 2016, and another year of Planetside 2. Happy New Year everyone, see you on the other side.